So it seems Ice Cube has been making some comments regarding the switch from actor Chris Tucker to Mike Epps. Let's hear what he has to say. Hopefully,
you know, he turned it down.
Really?
Yeah, he turned it down. You'll hear 1,000 different stories, but yeah, we wanted to pay him $12 million to do that movie.
Chris Tucker, he wanted to pay $12 million to do.
He said it was for religious reasons. He didn't want to cuss, and he didn't want to smoke camera.
Bro, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, Mike Epps did a great job. Next Friday was hilarious, but it's just, he was so great in the first one. That's just wild.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm glad he didn't do it because we wouldn't have Mike.
Yeah,
you know, Mike, to me is funnier. You know, just as a pure comic.
Yeah.
So it seems Ice Cube has been making some comments regarding the switch from actor Chris Tucker to Mike Epps. Let's hear what he has to say. Hopefully, nothing too disrespectful, as some of these headlines are making.
You know, he turned it down.
Really?
Yeah, he turned it down. You'll hear 1,000 different stories, but yeah, we wanted to pay him $12 million to do that movie.
Chris Tucker, he wanted to pay $12 million to do.
He said it was for religious reasons. He didn't want to cuss, and he didn't want to smoke camera.
Bro, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, Mike Epps did a great job. Next Friday was hilarious, but it's just, he was so great in the first one. That's just wild.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm glad he didn't do it because we wouldn't have Mike.
Yeah.
You know, Mike, to me is funnier. You know, just as a pure comic.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. I don't think it's disrespectful. I don't think this is like a disrespectful jab or anything at Chris Tucker, because I think, fortunately for Ice Cube, I think it worked out in his favor, right? Because that Chris Tucker's humor, right, in the early 90s and stuff like that was very, very what's like when you use your body, like very body comedy, very Jim Carrey, that kind of comedy, right? Very action oriented comedy where he's moving. But Mike Epps was now tapping into more of the black comedy, kind of like the hood comedy genre, and that was way more Friday, and that's where the Friday series was kind of going, because it was kind of catering to the hood. So like, in a way, Mike Epps kind of embodied that a little bit more. Like, if we're being honest, like he kind of embodied that a little bit more, and he kind of fit that role, because everybody's got a day. Like, everybody knows day. Like that cousin that like can't get right. He always in a something. You always got to get him out of something. But you know, he's funny. He's a fun hang. He's hilarious. You know, everybody's got a day. So, I think that, in all honesty, I think that Mike Epps actually being replacing Chris Tucker was probably one of the best things that could happen for the franchise. Like, it was a secret blessing in disguise, and Ice Cube is right. And Chris Tucker being funnier than Mike Epps is a subjective thing. I don't think Mike Epps is funnier than Chris Tucker. I think that Chris Tucker had just come from the Rush Hour and those movies, and he had come from such a high, career-wise, that I think, a lot of the drugs and partying and Hollywood had gotten to him, that he was kind of reaching a changing point in his life, and doing the role would have kind of put him back in those kind of situations again, right? And if it's for his sobriety and it's for his religion, that's something anybody can understand. Like if you can't understand it, like somebody's trying to heal and trying to get away from that, like for you guys it's a funny thing, it's like a joke, like you guys can easily, but for him it was affecting his life, right? His actual every single day life, right? And you can't put your life, $12 million can't buy you happiness, it can't buy you peace of mind, right? $12 million can't buy that, right? If you already got all the money in the world, right? It can't buy you that. It can buy a lot of things, right? But it can't buy you better health. It can't buy you more time. It can't buy you family, right? Like it can't buy you any of that, right? Respect, love, all that stuff. So he took the route of, hey, I need to take care of myself. I need to do this for myself, and he turned it down. That's actually in my opinion, that is super commendable. That is super it means he has a lot of integrity, right? Like that means Chris Tucker, in my opinion, has a lot of integrity, because he was willing to turn down a movie that could have been netted him $12 million, because he thought his religious and mental state didn't allow him to be in that position, to do that role and be like, all right, I'm gonna do this role. Like you could, if you haven't read the stories about what was going on with Chris Tucker, like he was going through it during those times. And I don't think this role would have helped him achieve the person that he is today. And it took him a while to come back, because he left the public life for a very long time. If you guys don't know, Chris Tucker was not in the public life for a long time. He was going through things, right? He was behind the scenes going through stuff. And I mean, I'm glad that he's back and he's starting to do comedy again. And, you know, it's pretty cool to watch. And yeah. Mike Epps he killed those roles. Ice Cube has been extremely intelligent, right? In the way he's been a business person, how he's done his stuff. He's been a very, very astute businessman, right? I'm never gonna say he's lucky, but he has been a very, very astute businessman when it comes to the big 3 league that he started, right? Like ex-basketball players coming and playing in tournaments. That's a great business, right? The movies, he transitioned from gangster rap to actually making a business out of entertaining people. That's a awesome, amazing story. And if anybody hates on Ice Cube or says he's not bad mouthing Mike Epps or Chris Tucker in this, the way that people make articles seem is so weird. It's like he's not bad mouthing anybody. He's just saying, hey, I personally think he's funnier, which is his right. He can think anybody. If I think Dave Chappelle's funnier than both of them, does that mean I don't like, no. What that means is, stylistically, I like that comedy a little better, right? Stylistically, I think he's right. Mike Epps for the next Friday, for the one that Mike Epps was in, he was friggin' perfect. He was the perfect guy for it. I literally can't imagine anybody else in that role, right? Other than Mike Epps. So, Chris Tucker was good for the first one because he was still young, raw, that young, raw Chris Tucker that was still, but then his mentality changed, his point of view changed, his life is changing. So, yeah, that's my take on it. I think Ice Cube, smart businessman, been doing awesome things. Can't wait to see what his next projects are. I actually saw him in LA once when we were out in LA. And I yelled at him. I was like, Ice Cube, and he turned back and waved and shit. I was like, yeah, he acknowledged me. And I was like, it was nothing. It was literally a nothing moment. I have a picture on my Instagram. It was literally a nothing moment. He did wave at me for yelling. I can't remember what I yelled. I yelled something at him. But he definitely turned around. But yeah, man, seems like a good guy. I think he would have loved for Chris Tucker to be back, but I think that it was the right decision for both parties.